All right, lesson 110 is over complex decimal numbers and fractional percents. Okay? The first part says complex decimal numbers. We can put a fraction in a decimal number. The value of the fraction depends on its place value. If we put the fraction 1/2 in the ones place, it has a value of 1/2 of 1 or 5/10. All right. So you can see here you have 1/2, and that if you were to write that as a decimal, that would equal 0.5 or 5/10, right? Because let's just say we wrote this as a fraction, 5/10. Well, you could reduce that and it would equal 1/2. Okay, so these are equivalent. All right, now this looks super weird, I'm guessing, to your eyes. You have 0 and then a decimal point and then a fraction. All right, that's pretty strange. We don't normally write numbers like this, but this is actually equivalent to over here where you have 5/100. All right, and so on and so forth, okay? Now, we don't prefer to write numbers like this, so in our lesson, we're going to be changing these forms, okay? So if you look at example 110.1, right now we're working with fractional percents, okay? Write each percent as a decimal number. All right, make sure you're paying attention when you're doing these problems in your lesson, whether or not you're changing a percent or if you just have a decimal number that you're changing the form of. All right, now in letter A, we have a percent and we're wanting to write it as a decimal number. All right, so the first thing that we should do is move our decimal. All right, now you don't see a decimal anywhere here in this number. So how do you know where it is? Well, if you were to read this, you would say 4 2/5 and indicates your decimal. So we're going to put our decimal here, 4 2/5. All right, so that's where our decimal is. We didn't show it, but that's where it is. All right, so to make this a percent, well, it is a percent. To make it a decimal, we need to move our decimal 2 places to the left. So we're going to go 1, 2. All right, so right now we have 0.042. Still not right, though. All right, we don't want the 2/5 there. So let's look at what place value the 2/5 is in. We have tenths, hundredths, thousandths. All right, now if we took our fraction 2/5, all right, that would be equal to what over 1,000? Okay, well, 5 times 200 is going to get us 1,000. So 2 times 200, that's going to get us 400. All right, so we could come over here, 2/5, that would be equal to 400 thousandths. So we can write 0.04, and then instead of 2/5, we can put our 400. All right, so this is the same thing, but now we've gotten rid of our fraction. And actually, to write the answer, I'm going to not write those zeros at the end. They don't actually need to be there. All right, so to write this percent as a decimal, you would have 44 thousandths, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and that's how you would write your answer. Let's go over to B. All right, so we need to make this percent a decimal, and in this one, they show the decimal. It's right here. So the first thing we need to do is get it out of percent form. So we need to move our decimal 2 places over. Okay, so now we have 0.00718. All right, so we've gotten rid of our percent, but we need to get rid of our fraction. All right, we've got tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths. All right, 1/8. That's going to equal something over 10,000. Tens, hundreds, thousands, 10 thousandths, okay? So we need to figure out the fraction 1/8, that would be equivalent to what over 10,000th. So then we can put that number in our thousandths place. All right, well, 8 times something is going to get us 10,000. Let's divide 10,000 by 8 and see what we get. All right, 8's going to go into 10 once, and then it'll go into 20 twice, and then 40 5 times, and then we'll have a 0. So we've got 1250. Okay. Oh, wait. Well, yeah, it's going to be the same. Okay, 8 times 1250, that's going to get 10,000. So 1 times 1250, that's going to get 1250. All right, so we can come over here, and instead of writing 1/8, we can write 1250 in its place. Again, to write it in its most simple form, I'm going to drop that 0 at the end, and that would be your answer there. Okay, so a little different than some things you guys have been doing. Let's go ahead and work practice letter A. Write 0.00046 1/5 as a decimal number without a fraction. All right, now you'll notice, hopefully you notice, this is not a percent, so we don't need to move our decimal at all. Okay, we just need to get rid of our fraction. Let's see what place value our fraction's in. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths, millionths. Okay, so the fraction 1/5 is going to be equal to something over 1 million. All right, now 5 will go into 10 twice, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 times 200,000 will get us 1 million. So 1 times 200,000 will get us 200,000 millionths. So to write this, all we need to do is write 0.00046, and then instead of our 1/5, 200,000 millionths. And again, I'm going to write this without all of the excess zeros. So that's going to be my answer right there. All right. Now, go ahead and do practice B. Complete the boxes. You don't need to insert the reference numbers. Okay, these are similar to 110.1. Okay, you've got percents. You need to make them decimals and fractions. All right, go ahead and try to do these on your own, and then play the video and see if you got them correct. Okay, let me give you the answers. Okay, for this first one, for your fraction, you should get 2 over 3,125. And for your decimal, you should get 0.000, and then 64. Okay, 0.00064. All right, for this one, you should get 9 over 125 and 0.072. All right, if you got those, excellent work. If you didn't get them, that's okay. Let's look at how you could get those. All right, for the first one, here's your percent. All right, so immediately, to make this a decimal, you need to move your decimal over 2 places. All right, so now we have this number, but we don't want that fraction. Okay, so we've got tens, hundredths, thousands, 10,000ths. Tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000ths, 100,000ths. Okay, so 2/5 is going to equal something over 100,000, I think. Tens, 100,000s, 10,000, 100,000s, right. Okay, so 5 will go into 10 twice, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 5 times 20,000. So then 2 times 20,000, that'll get you 40,000. So then we come back over here and keep wanting to put a 6 there. And then we'll have our 4 there, okay? And then once you have your decimal, you can get your fraction easily. You just count your place values. Tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. So you have 64 100,000s. And then you're just going to reduce that. You're just going to keep reducing it, you can cut it in half, and then eventually you'll get down to 2 over 3,125. Okay, for 7 1/5, all right, your decimal would be here. Again, 7 and 1/5. So then to make your percent a decimal, you need to move that decimal 2 places over. So now you have 0.07 1/5. Your 1/5, tenths, hundredths, thousands. Okay, 1/5. Okay, 5 times 200, 1 times 200. Okay, so you're going to get 0.07 and then 200, and you can drop those 2's. So 0.072. Okay, so then you've got 10, that's your decimal, and then you have tens, hundredths, thousandths. So you have 72 thousandths. So that's your fraction, and then again, you need to reduce that. And if you reduce it, you can get it down to 9 over 125. All right, so those are a little bit different, and you just need to memorize the process. But once you've got that down, you'll start getting the hang of it. You'll figure out real quick that 1/5, that's always going to become a 2, and 2/5, that's going to become a 4, and you'll figure that out, and then you won't have to do as much work every single time. All right, so go ahead and start your lesson.